Welcome to another edition of the Sports Couch here on AreaSports.net, brought to you by Wainwright Propane and Sporting Goods in Fairfield, also Fairfield Memorial Hospital, as well as People's National Bank with locations throughout Southern Illinois. Visiting on the phone once again with head coach Justin Townsend of the Fairfield Mules following Fairfield's tough come-from-behind win over Sesser-Valier on Friday night at the train yard, 34-20, the win by the Mules. And Coach joins us right now. That was not an easy win last night, but a win it was. And you learned something last night from that situation, I'm sure. Many things, right?
Yeah, I mean, last night, first off, great environment, two playoff football teams going at it, two well-coached teams. It felt like a really legitimate, normal Friday night. So it was a lot of fun. We had some adversity. We knew Sesser, really, I mean, the reality is they've probably been preparing for us for a few weeks, with them having Vienna week one, and we really didn't have a lot of good film on them because they didn't have either one of the running backs, and they got one already Hall of Famer, and Coach Shadowins will be a Hall of Famer someday. So two excellent coaches, and they got some athletes, and they were prepared for us, and we had to make some adjustments. We made some big-time adjustments at halftime. Really, they scored 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, and they didn't score again until the late kickoff return, So I thought our kids did a nice job adjusting on the fly, and, we just kept battling. And, Coach Shadowins and I exchanged texts this morning. We had that, that same exact conversation that, you learn a lot of things about your team in a game like that, and that's the type of game, too, that later in the year that's going to benefit both teams, that they've played in those types of situations, win or lose.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, let's talk about that. At halftime, you're down 14-12 as you go into the locker room, and you only had 99 yards of total offense at that point. And, adjustments you certainly did have to make, but you did not only offensively because you came out really moving the ball on the ground in the second half, but also defensively. The guys really stepped up after getting punched in the mouth a couple times there in the first half because the Mules only allowed 51 total yards in the second half against Sesser.
Yeah, like I said, we made some adjustments, got a little more speed on the field, took a D lineman off. We're really, really stingy against the run. We pride ourselves on that, and that was to a fault last night. We really gave them some opportunities to make some plays in the flats on the passing game, and so we kind of basically in the second half said we were going to take a guy out of the box. We were going to defend the flats a little bit more, and if they were going to beat us, they were going to have to beat us running the football. And, our interior 4 guys did a much better job in the second half overall. And then once again, offensively, they scored the first time, and we scored, I think, in 3 plays. It was really about consistency, I think, in the second half. And they kind of kept playing the field position game a little bit. So you're always they would punt and pin us deep, and we tried to do that a few times. And so you're kind of always leery a little bit on your play calling. But, I was just really pleased with our guys because, quite frankly, a lot of them haven't been in a situation like that where there's been some adversity. None of these guys have been behind going down into the locker room. So, it was good for us. And there were some tough conversations there at halftime, but I'm really proud of how our kids responded, how we played the second half, and I think it's one that we can definitely build on.
Well, you certainly have to tip your hat to their quarterback, Carson Hofford. He was pretty accurate, 13 out of 17 for 131 yards. Of course, most of that coming in the first half. But, your guys really put it together on the ground there in the second half. McQuire Taylor ended up with 130 yards for the game, and Connor Dagg with 118, and Robbins with 58. So you were really moving the ball on the ground that second half.
Yeah, I mean, we really had to grind it out, though. I mean, they made us earn it, and to their credit. And so, but like I said, we found out some things about ourselves, and we had some things in our back pocket that we were able to utilize last night that I thought really benefited us. And it's it's one of those things. It's not going to get any easier next week. Johnston City's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to watch some film on them, and so we got to learn from this. We got to make corrections where we can, and that's the thing. I think anything that we did last night, once again, I feel like it's correctable. It's not an effort thing. It's nothing like that. So our kids are going to enjoy this one. It's a physical game. So we're going to rest up this weekend, and we're going to enjoy the long weekend, but we're going to come back at it Monday and, quite frankly, get ready for a game that I think a lot of people have been waiting for 2 years.
Well, that's right, because you didn't get to play each other last year in that shortened 6-week season, so it just didn't work out that way on the schedule. So you're right, it'll be the first time you've played them in a couple of years, and it's not often you get to go up against a team that has a known Division I college football player in Austin Brown. He's already going to be committed and going to play at Wisconsin after his high school days are over, and that's a tall order.
Yeah, and I'll be the first to say he's by far all they got. I mean, they have a bunch of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Their quarterback's very solid. They got a couple backs, a couple of receivers. They got a couple of really nice linemen. So I think I would say that they're a much more complete team this year than they were even last year. Which they have a lot of dynamic guys on the field, and I think really on the turf at home, they're really a different team, and of course that's where we're going to go play them. So, but at the same time, I think we got some kids up front that are pretty good. I think we got some pretty good backs. We got some weapons ourselves. So I think it's going to be a really good football game.
One stat I wanted to ask you about as I go through the stats of last night's game is, if this is correct, third down conversions. Looks like you were 0 for 7 on third down conversions. That's something that probably you're not real happy about, huh?
Yeah, I mean, some of that kind of goes back to what I hit on a little bit with the field position. I can think of 3 or 4 instances maybe where we are inside the 20, and I was a little probably conservative with our play call just because of where we were at field position. But definitely that's something you gotta get corrected. You don't want to be in those third and long situations, and that's not how we want to operate offensively.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to be in that 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, and it was kind of one of those. We were in 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6, so you're kind of torn on what to call play wise.
Right.
But it's definitely something that we got to do. Rogers can throw the football. He can do some things. It's more about we just got to sustain blocks and give us an opportunity to make plays.
Everybody come out of the game healthy last night, Coach?
Yeah, for the most part, I think we'll be okay. Like I said, it was a physical game, so I guess we'll see.
Okay, well, we appreciate your time on the Sports Couch. Congratulations on the come-from-behind win, and best of luck as you prepare for Johnson City next week, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Coach Justin Townsend of the Fairfield Mules. Again, the Mules were down 14-12 at halftime, had only 99 total yards there in that first half, but bounced back to end up with 318 total yards for the game. Tip your cap to Sesser-Valier. They still controlled the time of possession and did an excellent job, did a lot of things right, and they're a good football team, and they're definitely going to win some games this year, that's for sure. It was a playoff-type football game, as Coach said last night at the train yard. Again, this edition of the Sports Couch brought to you by Fairfield Memorial Hospital, also by Wayne White Propane and Sporting Goods, and by People's National Bank. I'm Randy Olson reporting.